You're losing control watching impulses sabotage goals repeatedly. Recognizing that lack of self-control prevents achieving what you want despite knowing what to do. Knowing that self-control is not willpower or discipline, but systematic skill developed through specific practices. Understanding that controlling yourself enables achieving any goal while lack of control guarantees failure. And losing years to impulsive decisions, distraction, and inconsistency, because without self-control you cannot bridge gap between intention and action, making self-control mastery essential for goal achievement and life success. This lack of self-control is systematically destroying your success by ensuring good intentions never become consistent actions, destroying your goals by making you quit when difficulty arises, destroying your confidence by proving you cannot trust yourself to follow through, destroying your opportunities by choosing immediate gratification over long-term achievement, and ensuring that years pass without meaningful progress because poor self-control compounds creating downward spiral, while strong self-control compounds creating upward trajectory toward goals, making self-control development essential. Controlling yourself is not suppressing desires or being rigid, but developing capacity to choose long-term goals over short-term impulses. Not about perfect control, but progressively better self-regulation, and not innate trait, but learnable skill. This audiobook teaches how to control yourself and achieve your goals through systematic approach, including understanding what self-control actually is and how it works, identifying your specific self-control challenges, eliminating decision fatigue through systems and routines, managing impulses and resisting temptation effectively, building willpower through progressive training, creating environments supporting self-control, and maintaining discipline, achieving goals consistently, making self-control systematic achievable skill. Stop losing control to impulses and start mastering yourself. Stop sabotaging goals and start achieving consistently. Build self-control systematically. Practice progressively. Create supporting systems. And control yourself, achieving goals through unwavering commitment starting now. Chapter 1. Understand what self-control actually is. Chapter 1 clarifies what self-control actually is and how it functions. The self-control definition shows that self-control is fundamental capacity to override immediate impulses in favor of long-term goals. That self-control enables choosing what you want most over what you want now. That self-control is executive function, managing competing desires. That self-control bridges critical gap between intention and action. That self-control separates those who achieve from those who merely intend, and understanding that self-control is foundational skill enabling all achievement. Self-control is choosing long-term goals over short-term impulses. Develop capacity or stay controlled by impulses. The willpower versus self-control distinction reveals that willpower is finite mental resource depleting through use. That self-control includes willpower, but also systems, habits, and environment. That relying solely on willpower guarantees eventual failure. That self-control is comprehensive, sustainable approach, not just willpower. That willpower is component, not entirety of self-control, and treating self-control as sustainable system, while pure willpower is exhaustible resource. The ego depletion understanding shows that making decisions and resisting temptations progressively depletes self-control resource. The depletion makes subsequent self-control increasingly harder. That self-control is weakest when most depleted. That rest and glucose restore self-control capacity. That stress accelerates depletion. And understanding that managing depletion strategically is essential for consistent self-control. The dual system model reveals that impulsive system operates fast, automatically seeking immediate reward. That reflective system operates slowly, deliberately considering long-term consequences. That self-control is reflective system successfully overriding impulsive system. That stress and fatigue strengthen impulsive system while weakening reflective system. That understanding these systems enables managing them and treating self-control as strengthening reflective system over impulsive system. The marshmallow test lessons show that ability to delay gratification predicts life success across multiple domains. That self-control in childhood correlates strongly with adult achievement. That self-control is more important than IQ for success. That self-control can be developed at any age. That delayed gratification is trainable skill. And understanding that self-control is master skill enabling development of other skills. The self-control domains include controlling attention, managing focus, and resisting distraction. Controlling emotions, regulating reactions and responses. controlling impulses, resisting immediate gratification, controlling habits, breaking bad patterns while building good ones, controlling behavior, aligning actions with intentions, and treating self-control as applying across all life domains, not just one area. The common misconceptions include believing self-control is an innate, unchangeable trait, thinking self-control means never feeling temptation, expecting perfect self-control immediately without practice, believing self-control requires constant struggle, assuming self-control is personality, not skill, and understanding that these misconceptions prevent developing real self-control. The research foundations show that self-control predicts academic achievement better than intelligence, that self-control correlates with better health outcomes, that self-control enables financial success and stability, that self-control improves relationships and social functioning, and treating self-control as foundation life skill. The development possibility reveals that self-control improves with practice and training, that adults can increase self-control capacity, that specific strategies enhance control, that environment design multiplies personal capacity, and understanding that self-control is learnable, not fixed. The failure understanding shows that self-control failures are normal and expected, that everyone struggles with impulses, that failure provides learning opportunity, that occasional failure doesn't mean lack of capacity, and treating failures as information for improvement. The motivation connection reveals that self-control enables pursuing meaningful goals, that goals provide reason for exercising control, that purpose strengthens self-control, that self-control without direction is pointless, and understanding that self-control serves achievement, not restriction. The cultural context shows that modern environment challenges self-control constantly, that technology and abundance create unprecedented temptation, that self-control is more important now than ever, that environment is designed to trigger impulses, and treating self-control development as necessary for modern life. The implementation requires understanding self-control as capacity, choosing long-term over short-term, distinguishing comprehensive self-control from limited willpower alone, recognizing ego depletion and managing it strategically, understanding dual system model of impulse and reflection, applying lessons from delayed gratification research, recognizing self-control domains, releasing misconceptions blocking development, and treating self-control as learnable skill, not fixed trait, where misconceptions prevented development, making achievement impossible because believing self-control is unchangeable creates self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-control is choosing long-term goals over short-term impulses. Develop capacity or stay controlled by impulses. You understand now that self-control is skill, not trait, that willpower is component, not entirety, that depletion is real, requiring management, that systems strengthen control, and that Chapter 1 provides foundation, making self-control development possible where confusion made improvement impossible. Chapter 2. Identify your specific self-control challenges. Chapter 2 identifies your specific self-control challenges, revealing where you struggle. The self-assessment process involves honestly evaluating where you consistently lack self-control, identifying specific situations where control fails predictably, recognizing clear patterns in self-control failures, understanding your unique triggers and weaknesses, tracking when and where control breaks down, and treating honest assessment as revealing specific development targets, not general weakness. Vague awareness of weakness is insufficient. Identify specific failures. No challenges or stay stuck. The common self-control failures include procrastination, choosing comfort over important work, distraction, surrendering focus to interruptions and notifications, overeating, consuming beyond hunger or plan, overspending, buying impulsively beyond budget, anger outbursts, reacting emotionally instead of responding thoughtfully, quitting, abandoning goals when difficulty increases, and understanding that identifying your specific failures enables targeted intervention instead of vague improvement. Attempts. The trigger identification means recognizing specific situations consistently activating poor self-control, noticing emotional states preceding self-control failure, identifying people or circumstances reducing control, understanding what makes you lose composure, recognizing environmental factors weakening control, and treating triggers as revealing where strengthening is needed most urgently. The time pattern recognition involves identifying when during day self-control is weakest, recognizing that evening self-control is typically worse than morning for most people, understanding that depletion follows predictable daily pattern, noticing your personal self-control rhythm, tracking control across different times, and treating time awareness as enabling strategic planning of important decisions. The domain assessment means evaluating self-control across different life areas, identifying whether you struggle primarily with attention, emotion, impulse, or habit control, recognizing domain-specific challenges, understanding that weakness in one domain doesn't mean weakness in all, noting where you demonstrate good control, and treating domain assessment as targeting development efforts efficiently. The cost calculation involves identifying what poor self-control has cost you specifically, measuring impact on goals, relationships, health, and finances, understanding cumulative cost over months and years, recognizing opportunity cost of lost self-control, calculating what you could have achieved with better control, and treating cost awareness as powerful motivation for development. The strength recognition means identifying where you already demonstrate good self-control, understanding what enables control in those areas, recognizing that you have capacity for self-control proven by successes, learning from your own successes, analyzing what makes control easier in some situations, and treating strengths as revealing what works that can be applied elsewhere. The pattern documentation involves writing down specific self-control failures, noting circumstances surrounding each failure, identifying common threads across failures, creating record revealing patterns, tracking failures over time, and understanding that documentation makes unconscious patterns consciously visible. The severity assessment includes evaluating how much self-control failures impact life, distinguishing between minor lapses and major problems, recognizing which failures deserve priority attention, understanding relative importance of different challenges, and treating assessment as guiding resource allocation. The obstacle identification means recognizing what prevents good self-control, identifying whether environment, people, or situations create challenges, understanding internal versus external obstacles, noting what makes control difficult, and treating obstacle awareness as enabling systematic removal. The comparison avoidance shows that comparing your self-control to others is counterproductive, that everyone has unique challenges, that your journey is individual, that comparison creates discouragement, and treating self-assessment as personal, not comparative. The baseline establishment involves measuring current self-control level, creating benchmark for improvement, tracking specific metrics, establishing starting point, and understanding that progress requires knowing where you start. The priority selection means choosing which self-control challenge to address first, focusing on highest impact area, not trying to fix everything simultaneously, selecting achievable starting point, and treating priority selection as enabling focused improvement. The implementation requires conducting completely honest self-assessment of self-control across domains, identifying specific failures and clear patterns, recognizing triggers consistently reducing control, understanding time patterns in self-control fluctuation, assessing control across different life domains, calculating actual costs of poor control, recognizing existing strengths and successes, documenting patterns making them visible, and treating identification as revealing specific targets for development where vague awareness of general weakness prevented targeted improvement, making actual progress impossible because you cannot improve what you cannot specifically identify. Vague awareness of weakness is insufficient. Identify specific failures, no challenges, or stay stuck. You understand now that specific identification enables targeted action, that patterns reveal opportunities, that triggers predict failures, that strengths show what works, and that Chapter 2 provides clarity, making effective intervention possible where vagueness made improvement attempts scattered and ineffective. Chapter 3. Eliminate decision fatigue through systems. Chapter 3 eliminates decision fatigue, preserving self-control through systems and routines. The decision fatigue understanding shows that every decision depletes finite self-control resource, that trivial decisions waste control needed for important choices, that decision accumulation throughout day progressively erodes control, that reducing decisions preserves control for what matters, that most daily decisions are unnecessary, and understanding that decision fatigue is major preventable cause of self-control failure. Every decision depletes self-control. Automate trivial choices. Preserve control or waste on irrelevant decisions. The systems creation involves building systems automating repeated decisions, creating routines eliminating daily choices, establishing clear protocols for common situations, designing intelligent defaults requiring no decision, removing choice from routine activities, and treating systems as self-control preservation infrastructure. The morning routine power shows that deciding night before eliminates morning decisions, that consistent morning routine preserves control for important work, that morning is when self-control is strongest for most people, that protecting morning control enables productive day, that morning decisions waste precious control, and understanding that morning routine is highest leverage self-control practice. The wardrobe simplification means reducing clothing choices dramatically, wearing uniform or very limited options, deciding outfit in advance, eliminating daily decision about what to wear, creating capsule wardrobe, and treating wardrobe simplification as preserving mental energy for important decisions. The meal planning practice involves planning meals for entire week in advance, deciding what to eat before becoming hungry, preparing meals, eliminating decision in moment, creating consistent eating routine, batching food decisions, and understanding that meal decisions when hungry led to poor control and unhealthy choices. The schedule template creation shows that having standard daily schedule eliminates constant deciding, that time blocking prevents decision about what to do next, that routine creates beneficial automaticity, that schedule reduces cognitive load significantly, that templates prevent decision paralysis, and treating schedule as powerful decision elimination tool. The if-then planning involves creating specific rules for common situations, using if-then format to PI decide responses, automating decisions through advanced planning, eliminating in-the-moment choice, creating decision shortcuts, and understanding that if-then rules preserve self-control by removing decisions. The batching strategy means grouping similar decisions together, making all similar decisions at once, avoiding scattered decision-making throughout day, processing decisions in dedicated time, and treating batching as reducing total decision burden. The default establishment involves creating defaults for recurring choices, making default option align with goals, requiring active choice only for exceptions, designing defaults intelligently, and understanding that defaults reduce decisions dramatically. The automation opportunities include automating bill payments, setting up automatic savings, using subscription services, creating systems handling routine tasks, and treating automation as eliminating decisions entirely. The decision tracking practice means noticing how many decisions you make daily, identifying unnecessary decisions, recognizing decision patterns, understanding personal decision load, and treating tracking as revealing elimination opportunities. The simplification principle shows that reducing options reduces decisions, that fewer choices preserve control, that excessive options create paralysis, that simplification enables focus, and understanding that less choice often means better outcomes. The energy preservation reveals that preserved control enables important work, that eliminating trivial decisions frees capacity, that energy saved compounds over time, that strategic decision elimination multiplies effectiveness, and treating preservation as enabling achievement. The implementation requires understanding decision fatigue as progressively depleting self-control, creating comprehensive systems automating repeated decisions, establishing consistent morning routine, simplifying wardrobe dramatically, planning meals for week in advance, using schedule templates, implementing if-then planning for common situations, batching similar decisions together, and treating decision elimination as preserving self-control for important choices where constant trivial, deciding depleted control making important decisions poorly, and sabotaging goals through exhausted capacity. Every decision depletes self-control. Automate trivial choices. Preserve control or waste on irrelevant decisions. You understand now that decisions deplete control, that systems preserve capacity, that routines eliminate choices, that automation frees energy, and that Chapter 3 provides decision elimination, making self-control available where constant deciding made control impossible. Chapter 4. Manage impulses and resist temptation. Chapter 4 manages impulses and resists temptation when they arise. The impulse recognition involves noticing impulse arising before automatically acting on it, identifying physical sensations accompanying impulse, recognizing emotional component of temptation, understanding thought patterns consistently preceding impulsive action, catching impulse early information, and treating recognition as creating critical intervention opportunity before action. Impulses are automatic, but action is choice. Pause and choose. React impulsively or respond deliberately. The pause technique practice means stopping completely before acting on impulse, creating conscious space between urge and action, taking 3 slow deep breaths, counting to 10 deliberately, allowing pause to interrupt automatic response, and understanding that pause enables conscious choice instead of automatic reaction. The urge surfing skill involves observing urge without acting on it, recognizing urge as wave that rises, peaks, and naturally falls, understanding urges pass if not acted upon, riding urge without feeding it through action, accepting discomfort without trying to escape, and treating urge surfing as building impulse tolerance over time. The cognitive strategies include questioning whether action truly serves goals, examining consequences of giving into impulse, reframing temptation, highlighting costs not just benefits, reminding yourself of why you set goal, playing tape forward, seeing where impulse leads, and understanding that thinking interrupts impulsive automatic action. The distraction use shows that redirecting attention away from temptation reduces its power, that engaging in completely different activity breaks impulse momentum, that distraction buys valuable time for urge to pass, that activity should absorb attention fully, that physical movement especially effective, and treating distraction as tactical impulse management tool. The 10-minute rule involves committing to wait 10 minutes before acting on impulse, using delay to reduce impulse intensity, recognizing that many impulses fade within 10 minutes, making agreement with yourself to delay, and understanding that delay often prevents action entirely. The temptation removal means eliminating temptations from physical environment when possible, increasing distance between you and temptation, making temptation access difficult or impossible, removing cues consistently triggering impulse, clearing environment of triggers, and understanding that removal is significantly more effective than constantly resisting. The replacement behavior involves identifying what need impulse attempts to meet, finding healthy way to meet same need, substituting constructive behavior for destructive impulse, having replacement ready in advance, and treating replacement as addressing underlying need. The social support means telling someone when facing strong temptation, calling accountability partner when impulse strong, using external support as impulse brake, not trying to resist alone always, and understanding that connection reduces impulse power. The self-talk practice includes speaking to yourself compassionately but firmly, reminding yourself of commitments, using motivating self-statements, countering rationalizations, and treating self-talk as cognitive impulse management. The consequence visualization involves vividly imagining consequences of giving in, seeing negative outcomes clearly, feeling regret before acting, making consequences real and immediate mentally, and understanding that vivid negative consequences reduce impulse appeal. The values reconnection shows that remembering what truly matters weakens impulses, that connecting to deep values strengthens resistance, that impulses are shallow while values are deep, and treating values as anchor against impulses. The energy management reveals that impulses strengthen when tired or depleted, that managing energy reduces impulse frequency, that rest and recovery improve control, that physical state affects impulse strength, and understanding that self-care is impulse prevention. The pattern interruption means breaking automatic impulse action pattern, inserting different response, creating new pathway, disrupting habitual reaction, and treating pattern interruption as weakening automatic impulse. The implementation requires recognizing impulses as they arise, creating intervention opportunity, practicing pause before acting on any impulse, using urge surfing when tempted, applying cognitive strategies questioning impulses, using distraction tactically, implementing 10-minute rule, removing temptations from environment, having replacement behaviors ready, using social support, practicing effective self-talk, visualizing consequences, reconnecting with values, and treating impulse management as essential self-control skill, where automatic reaction to impulses guarantee goal sabotage, making achievement impossible, because unmanaged impulses override intentions every time. Impulses are automatic, but action is choice. Pause and choose. React impulsively or respond deliberately. You understand now that pause creates choice, that urge surfing works, that thinking interrupts impulse, that removal beats resistance, and that Chapter 4 provides impulse management, making deliberate choices possible, where automatic reactions made control impossible. Chapter 5. Build willpower through progressive training. Chapter 5 builds willpower capacity through progressive training. The willpower as muscle metaphor shows that willpower strengthens through use exactly like physical muscle, that challenging willpower consistently builds capacity, that overuse causes temporary depletion requiring recovery, that rest allows recovery and growth, that progressive overload principle applies to willpower, and understanding that systematic training increases willpower capacity over time, making self-control easier. Willpower strengthens through progressive use. Train systematically, challenge gradually, or expect no growth. The small challenges practice involves starting with small manageable willpower challenges, succeeding consistently building confidence and capacity, gradually increasing difficulty over weeks, celebrating small wins reinforcing progress, not attempting huge challenges initially, and treating progressive challenge as building capacity without burning out. The discomfort tolerance building means voluntarily experiencing mild discomfort, taking cold showers building mental toughness, exercising when you don't feel like it, doing difficult tasks before easy ones, sitting with discomfort without escaping, and understanding that discomfort tolerance is willpower foundation enabling resistance to temptation. The temptation resistance training involves deliberately exposing yourself to temptation and successfully resisting, practicing saying no to desires, building resistance muscle through repeated use, starting with easier temptations progressing to harder, creating controlled exposure situations, and treating resistance practice as strengthening willpower like lifting weights strengthens muscles. The daily discipline practice shows that small daily disciplines build willpower, that making bed every morning creates discipline momentum, that keeping commitments to yourself builds capacity, that consistency matters more than intensity, and understanding that daily practice compounds into significant capacity. The implementation intention use shows that PI deciding what you will do strengthens follow through, that if then planning reduces willpower requirement, that commitment devices create accountability, that public commitment increases compliance, that advanced planning makes execution easier, and understanding that planning reduces willpower needed in moment. The meditation practice reveals that mindfulness meditation improves self-control, that observing thoughts without acting strengthens control, that meditation is willpower training, that regular practice increases capacity, and treating meditation as direct willpower exercise. The physical exercise connection shows that regular exercise builds willpower beyond physical benefits, that pushing through workout discomfort trains control, that exercise creates discipline transferring to other areas, that physical training is mental training, and understanding that exercise is comprehensive self-control practice. The recovery importance reveals that willpower depletes requiring adequate recovery, that sleep restores willpower significantly, that glucose replenishes self-control resource, that stress depletes willpower requiring management, that recovery enables sustained capacity, and treating recovery as essential for sustained willpower not weakness. This strategic depletion management means doing important tasks requiring willpower when fresh, scheduling difficult decisions for morning, protecting peak willpower times, avoiding unnecessary willpower expenditure, and understanding that timing matters enormously. The habit formation integration shows that building habits around goals reduces willpower requirement, that automatic behaviors don't deplete willpower, that habits are sustainable while pure willpower is not, that systematically building habits multiplies capacity, and treating habit formation as willpower multiplication. The progress tracking involves measuring willpower improvements over time, celebrating increased capacity, recognizing that training works, maintaining awareness of growth, and understanding that tracking maintains motivation and demonstrates progress. The setback expectation recognizes that willpower training includes failures, that occasional depletion is normal, that setbacks provide learning, that recovery from failure builds resilience, and treating setbacks as part of training, not catastrophic failure. The variety importance shows that challenging willpower in different domains builds general capacity, that varied practice transfers across areas, that practicing control in one area strengthens control elsewhere, and understanding that comprehensive training is most effective. The implementation requires understanding willpower as trainable capacity like muscle, starting with small manageable challenges building progressively, building discomfort tolerance through voluntary challenge, practicing temptation resistance deliberately, implementing daily disciplines consistently, using implementation intentions, practicing meditation, exercising regularly, prioritizing recovery through sleep and stress management, managing depletion strategically, building habits, reducing willpower requirement, tracking progress, and treating willpower building as progressive systematic training where expecting immediate strength guaranteed frustration and failure because capacity builds gradually through consistent challenge and recovery. Willpower strengthens through progressive use. Train systematically, challenge gradually, or expect no growth. You understand now that willpower is trainable, that progressive challenge builds capacity, that discomfort tolerance is foundation, that recovery enables growth, and that Chapter 5 provides training system making willpower stronger where untrained willpower remained weak. Chapter 6. Create environment supporting self-control. Chapter 6 creates environment actively supporting self-control. The environment power shows that physical and social environment shapes behaviors more than willpower alone, that supportive environment makes self-control easy and automatic, that destructive environment makes control nearly impossible regardless of willpower, that designing environment is highest leverage intervention, that environment works continuously while willpower is finite, and understanding that environment either powerfully supports or systematically undermines control. Environment determines behavior more than willpower. Design for control. Support yourself or fight surroundings constantly. The temptation elimination involves removing temptations completely from physical environment, not keeping junk food in-house, deleting time-wasting apps from phone, eliminating distractions from workspace, clearing triggers from environment, and treating elimination as primary prevention strategy more effective than constant resistance. The friction engineering means adding obstacles to undesired behaviors, making bad choices difficult or impossible, increasing steps required for temptation access, creating delays enabling better decisions, putting barriers between you and impulse, and understanding that friction prevents impulsive poor choices by creating intervention opportunity. The cue removal practice shows that environmental cues trigger automatic behavior, that removing cues prevents automatic responses, that visible temptations activate impulses, that out of sight genuinely reduces desire, that cues operate unconsciously, and treating cue removal as reducing impulse frequency and intensity. The positive environment design involves structuring environment to support goals, making desired behaviors easy and obvious, placing reminders of goals visibly, creating workspace optimized for focus, positioning healthy choices prominently, and understanding that environment can make self-control nearly automatic. The path of least resistance principle shows that people follow easiest available path, that making good choices easiest increases compliance, that making bad choices harder decreases occurrence, that designing defaults intelligently shapes behavior, and treating resistance manipulation as powerful environment design. The social environment matters shows that surrounding yourself with disciplined people increases your discipline, that peer behavior profoundly influences your behavior, that accountability partnerships support self-control, that avoiding people consistently undermining goals, that social norms shape individual behavior, and understanding that social environment is powerful, often overlooked determinant. The workspace optimization involves creating distraction-free work environment, removing non-work items from desk, organizing space for focus, using separate spaces for different activities, and treating workspace as supporting or hindering productivity. The digital environment design means organizing phone and computer for productivity, removing distracting apps, using website blockers, turning off notifications, creating friction for time-wasting activities, and understanding that digital environment requires active design. The visual reminders use shows that placing goal reminders in environment maintains focus, that visual cues trigger desired behaviors, that environment can remind and motivate, that strategic placement maximizes effectiveness, and treating visual environment as supporting system. The home environment structuring involves organizing home to support goals, creating exercise space, stocking healthy foods, removing temptations, designing for desired lifestyle, and understanding that home environment operates continuously. The choice architecture application means arranging choices to favor desired outcomes, positioning healthy options prominently, making unhealthy options less accessible, using defaults strategically, and treating architecture as subtle powerful influence. The environmental audit practice involves evaluating current environment honestly, identifying elements supporting versus undermining goals, recognizing what needs changing, making list of modifications, and understanding that audit reveals improvement opportunities. The incremental improvement shows that environment doesn't require complete overhaul immediately, that small changes compound, that progressive improvement is sustainable, that starting with highest impact changes, and treating environment design as ongoing practice. The implementation requires eliminating temptations completely from environment, engineering friction for undesired behaviors, removing cues triggering impulses, designing environment supporting goals actively, optimizing social environment, manipulating path of least resistance, creating distraction-free workspace, designing digital environment intentionally, using visual reminders, structuring home environment, applying choice architecture, conducting environmental audit, and treating environment design as making self-control easier automatic, where poor environment made constant struggle inevitable, requiring exhausting willpower to overcome surroundings working against goals. Environment determines behavior more than willpower. Design for control. Support yourself or fight surroundings constantly. You understand now that environment is leverage point, that elimination beats resistance, that friction prevents impulse, that social environment shapes behavior, and that Chapter 6 provides environment design making self-control automatic where poor environment made control exhausting. Chapter 7. Maintain discipline and achieve goals consistently. Chapter 7 maintains discipline, achieving goals consistently over time. The goal clarity importance shows that vague goals provide no actionable direction, that specific measurable goals enable tracking progress, that clarity focuses effort and energy, that knowing exactly what you want makes self-control purposeful, that ambiguity prevents accountability, and understanding that clarity is absolute prerequisite for consistent achievement. Discipline is choosing goals over comfort consistently. Maintain focus, sustain effort, or abandon goals. The why connection reveals that connecting goals to deep personal values strengthens motivation, that understanding why goal matters provides resilience through difficulty, that shallow reasons fail under sustained pressure, that values align goals worth sustained effort, that purpose fuels persistence, and treating why clarity as motivation foundation making discipline sustainable. The progress tracking practice involves measuring progress toward goals regularly, celebrating small wins, building momentum, adjusting strategy based on results, maintaining constant awareness of progress, seeing improvement, and understanding that tracking maintains motivation and accountability, preventing drift. The habit formation integration shows that turning goal-related actions into automatic habits reduces willpower requirement dramatically, that consistent behavior becomes automatic over time, that habits are sustainable while pure willpower is not, that building habits around goals makes achievement automatic, and treating habit formation as making achievement effortless eventually. The obstacle anticipation means identifying potential obstacles in advance, planning specifically how to handle challenges, creating detailed contingency plans, not being surprised by predictable difficulty, expecting resistance, and understanding that anticipation enables better response than reactive problem solving. The accountability systems include finding accountability partner, sharing goals, reporting progress regularly, creating real consequences for non-compliance, joining groups with similar goals, making commitments public, and treating external accountability as supporting internal commitment when motivation wanes. The self-compassion integration shows that harsh self-judgment undermines self-control, that compassion enables learning from mistakes, that treating setbacks as learning, not catastrophic failure, that self-kindness supports sustained effort, that beating yourself up produces motivation, and understanding that compassion and discipline work together, not against each other. The long-term perspective maintains focus on ultimate goals, understanding that meaningful achievement takes sustained effort over months and years, avoiding short-term thinking, celebrating progress while pursuing excellence, maintaining patience with process, and treating goals as requiring patience and persistence, not instant results. The motivation management recognizes that motivation fluctuates naturally, that discipline means acting regardless of feelings, that waiting for motivation guarantees inconsistency, that action often precedes motivation, and understanding that discipline is acting despite not feeling like it. The identity integration involves seeing yourself as disciplined person, acting consistent with goal-oriented identity, refusing behaviors contradicting claimed identity, understanding identity follows behavior, and treating identity as self-fulfilling prophecy. The review ritual practice means regularly reviewing goals and progress, adjusting approach based on learning, celebrating achievements, identifying improvements, maintaining big picture awareness, and understanding that review maintains alignment and motivation. The sustainable pace adoption shows that discipline is marathon, not sprint, that burning out serves no one, that sustainable effort beats intense sporadic effort, that consistency matters more than intensity, and treating sustainability as enabling long-term achievement. The temptation resistance maintenance involves continuing to resist temptations consistently, not becoming complacent after early success, maintaining vigilance, understanding that discipline requires ongoing practice, and treating resistance as continuous requirement. The celebration practice includes acknowledging progress and achievements, rewarding yourself appropriately, recognizing effort and results, sharing wins with supporters, and understanding that celebration reinforces disciplined behavior. The learning mindset adoption means treating failures as learning opportunities, analyzing what went wrong, adjusting approach, maintaining growth orientation, and understanding that setbacks contain valuable lessons. The implementation requires clarifying goals specifically and measurably, connecting goals to deep personal values, tracking progress consistently, building habits around goals, anticipating obstacles, planning responses, creating accountability systems, practicing self-compassion alongside discipline, maintaining long-term perspective, managing motivation, understanding discipline transcends feelings, integrating goal-oriented identity, conducting regular reviews, adopting sustainable pace, maintaining temptation resistance, celebrating progress, adopting learning mindset, and treating discipline as sustainable practice, making consistent goal achievement possible where sporadic effort made meaningful achievement impossible, requiring self-control mastery, bridging intention and action consistently over time. You have learned how to control yourself and achieve your goals. Understanding what self-control actually is, identifying your specific self-control challenges, eliminating decision fatigue through systems, managing impulses and resisting temptation, building willpower through progressive training, creating environment supporting self-control, maintaining discipline, achieving goals consistently. What matters now is implementing self-control practices starting immediately. 5 implementation priorities. Identify your biggest self-control challenge. Create one system eliminating decisions. Practice pausing before acting on impulses. Design environment removing one temptation. Clarify one important goal specifically. Execute systematically. Practice consistently. Build progressively. And control yourself, achieving goals through commitment. Stop losing control to impulses and start mastering yourself. Stop sabotaging goals and start achieving consistently. Build self-control systematically. Practice impulse management. Create supporting systems. Maintain discipline and control yourself, achieving any goal through unwavering commitment starting right now today.